I'm back! The last video I did was the European Trials Championships in Glasgow, where I fell off on the first section, folded my ankle and dislocated my finger. And actually I did a bit more damage than I thought, and they've only just started to feel like I can ride again, even though my finger is still pretty swollen and bruised and horrible. But the ring finger actually doesn't do that much gripping, so I'm going to try and ride today and see how we get on. But the other issue I had, which was probably worse than these, was I got Lyme disease. When I was filming my e-bike trials video at Cambu Quarry, I did notice a tick on my arm, and then like a few weeks later I started to see a bullseye bruise appear, so I must have been bitten by one. Went to the doctors and they've pumped me full of drugs, so hopefully I've nipped that in the bud before it gets too serious. But yeah, I've not had any energy to pretty much do anything these last few weeks. I've had real brain fog, so even doing like bike build videos, I've just not felt like I could do anything like that. We're back on the story. I haven't ridden this bike enough since I've built it, so we're here at Bells Hill. Baby steps. I like to come here when I'm not feeling 100% because I don't have to travel big distances between spots. So I'm going to ride the bike, and in a minute I'm also going to tell you some news, my updated merch page. But let's do some riding and then I'll tell you about that. Feeling. So far so good. The finger is a little bit sore, so I'm going to have to be kind of careful of what moves I'm doing, how much I'm holding on. But yeah, I think it's pretty much business time, and we can try and push it a little bit. Before I wrecked myself, I kind of really started getting to these weird little, I don't even know what you call these weird side up things, but I really enjoy those, and hopefully they look pretty cool too. And speaking of looking cool, that's a perfect segue to talk about my new merch. Now, a bit of a backstory here. My previous merch store, Clarkson.com, is no more. I got rid of it. The reason being is that was actually made by one of my fans. He came along and offered to make me a website and run it for me, including my merch stuff, and yeah, I bit his hand off. And that's how my previous merch store started and went. But then he went and got a proper full-time job and didn't have the time to keep the website and merch updated. And yeah, it just got left by the wayside. And then after a while, a long while, I finally got brave enough to try and make my own website, and that's where I discovered Squarespace. And this isn't an advert. I'd happily take an advert from them, because this is a product I've genuinely used to make my new website, aliclarkson.co.uk, and then I've redone a lot of my designs, although this is one of the original ones. But I do have a whole bunch of new designs which I really like, and I hope you do too. So yeah, aliclarkson.co.uk is the new site. Go check it out. It is still slightly work in progress, but I figured rather than waiting for perfection, which may never come. May as well just get it out there. So there's a few updated photos to be put on there, and I may update the site in the future to offer coaching and maybe even wheel building services. In the future, I plan on doing some giveaways, stuff like that. But in the meantime, if you want a permanent 10% off everything on my site, then hit me up on Patreon. Not only do you get videos released earlier, but yeah, you get cheaper merch as well. But because I'm feeling generous, for this week after this video is launched, I'm offering 10% off the site to anyone who watches this video and uses the code Ali10. So get on the site, see what you like, and yeah, I'd love to see anyone out in the wild wearing some of my stuff. I would get a second angle just to show how narrow that landing is, but that took me bloody ages and I'm actually getting a little bit sore, so just that's gonna have to do. There's no music in this video because my music subscription ran out, and yeah, I'm just gonna have to go with ambient sounds, but I don't think that's a bad thing because I think this bike is riding really, really smooth at the minute. There's no noises or anything coming from it, and I'm really enjoying that. And in fact, this bike at the minute is riding so sweet. I don't know whether it's the stem changed. I added a longer stem for the comp last video. I put a slightly heavier duty tire at the back with slightly lower PSI, so it's got a bit more bounce to it. But the bike is feeling so dialed at the minute. I absolutely love it. The other thing I'm really enjoying about the bike is the brakes. Now, I normally ride 203 rotors on the Trials bike, but because these Lewis brakes are so powerful, I've downsized to 180mm, but I've also gone for 2.3mm thick rotors, which means they're much harder to bend. And they don't have that twang noise that you sometimes get with thinner rotors that vibrate quite a lot. So that's actually added to the quietness of the bike. Plus there's no pad knocks, so there's no loud bangs going on. And the power and modulation from these are insane. All of this is true, but it's also a bit of a plug, because if you want to get your own Story Street Trials bike or Lewis brakes or GTS pedals, then head to Submission Cycles, use code Ali10 for that as well, and you get 10% off these. So yeah, selling all the wares today. But yeah, head to aliclarkson.co.uk, get some sweet merch like this, and it honestly really helps for times when I get flipping Lyme disease. I can't go and make videos. So yeah, it really helped me out, and you get something hopefully pretty cool out of it as well. So yeah, aliclarkson.co.uk, code Ali10 for this week for 10% off as an introductory offer, and let me know what you think. That's going to be the end of this video, a little bit shorter perhaps, but want to ease back into the riding. Body's actually feeling surprisingly okay, but I don't want to push it, I don't want to jinx it. So that's me for now. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.